just came back from my trip to Croatia. I was traveling alone, you know, by myself. And I survived. So, here's what I learned. Chapter 1. What if I didn't pack everything I need? There's a good chance you did. And for my girls that travel alone with a carry-on, we don't have much space to splurge on the things that we might need. At your destination shops probably exist, so we can buy whatever it turned out to be missing in your backpack. But as long as you have your ID, change of clothes and a toothbrush, you will probably survive. Chapter 2. Wow! Sleeping over there is quite expensive for one person. Sadly, if you want to travel solo, you need to cover all costs by yourself. Splitting the cost of an apartment is nice, but for one person, sometimes the price is just unreasonable. So that's why we think of choosing hostels. Since I knew I wouldn't be staying in that much for the trip, it didn't bother me that I'm going to be sleeping in a bunk bed and I'll be taking showers in the shared bathroom. And I knew that I wouldn't be really using kitchen amenities anyways. Like, I knew that most of the part I would be eating out. No, this is the place that I stayed. It was really clean and I met lovely girls in the room. Although they were barely starting university while I finished mine 3 years ago. So basically I felt ancient over there. And I also felt a little bit out of place at first. No, I thought that since I'm that old and I have a full-time job, maybe I should be sleeping in a real place, like real apartment, and I shouldn't ship out on a hostel. But that feeling went away quite quickly. Because if I didn't meet those girls, I would miss out on one of the best days that I had during that trip, which I'm going to tell you about in a moment. So maybe don't retreat to your bunk bed the second you arrive. Chapter 3. I'm alive. I have a place to stay. And now what? And now is the best part. Google Maps research. I usually do it before the trip because I want to check out all the restaurants, bars, coffee shops that are going to be around the place that I'm going to stay, just to have options, just to make sure that what are the ratings, what are the foods that I'm supposed to eat over there because they are quite local. For example, over there I learned that gyrica exists. Of course, I knew that the wine is going to be probably extremely delicious because you know it's a sunny country. That way, when I'm tired and I don't want to make any kind of decisions, everything is ready for me. I just need to pop up all the pins that I have on my Google Maps and I can just pick one. And I know that all of them are going to be good. So I don't have to worry about, oh, it's just overpriced, it's just really touristy, but it's not very tasty. We've done the research before, so we are safe. Of course, you can walk around the city without a bigger plan, but if you want some sort of structure, I usually go to the app Get Your Guide because they have really wide selections of all the kinds of stuff that you can do in the area. A feature that I extremely like is the fact that you can cancel an event 24 hours before it and there is no cancellation fee. So you can feel free about your plans changing, which was also very useful during that trip. And that's how I discovered a trip to Plitvice Lakes. You can see how amazing and great it was, like all the views, all the waterfalls over there. They were just amazing. The weather was perfect because it was sunny but it wasn't too hot, so all the colors of the water were very blue-greenish like. It was just really great, and because it was still the end of the April, there wasn't that many tourists. And if you're ever going to travel over there, I would say it's almost like a must, because the walk was really easy. We were just stopping every few meters because there's another view, there's another waterfall, or maybe smaller waterfalls, and you just want to look at them. And I mentioned that the girls from the hostel were the reason I changed my plans for one of the days, because they told me they took a bus and went hiking, and I love hiking, but I never hiked outside my country, and the thought of doing it alone somewhere else was kind of scary, so I cancelled my boat cruise As I told you, no fees, so we were fine with that. I looked up the buses to Paklenica, Tarigrad, and checked what trails are over there. I looked at Komoot, at the trails that other hikers had recorded, and picked one I knew I'd definitely finish before the estimated time. So I had a little bit extra time before my return bus to Zadar. I didn't want to get lost, so I uploaded a track to my Garmin watch. I make sure that I'm just following the red line on the watch so I won't be lost. And it was useful actually, because the signs that were on the trail, I understood them, but sometimes I missed them. Even though they were easy to view, I was so used to the signs that I had in my mountains. My sight just went over them and didn't realize that I took a wrong turn for a second, but then I looked at the watch and I was like, yeah, okay. I made a mistake. The bus existed, I had a great hike, and I saw so many smiling people while hiking, and especially in the mountain hut that was at the end of the trail that I took. They were so happy that I was confused, because people hiking my mountains are never happy. They're just so, I don't know, they're just not chatty and happy, and all of them over there in Croatia, they looked like they knew each other. They ate together their breakfast or their lunch. It was so mesmerizing just to look at them, because it was so different, and it reminded me of the times when I was little and when I was hiking and people were still like this. So it was very refreshing to see people actually happy while hiking. And also, when I was finishing the trail, I've seen so many climbers at the trailhead, and because it turned out it was the spot for the rock climbing. Chapter 4. Take a piece of your routine with you. Whatever it is, maybe, I don't know, drinking coffee in the morning, meditating, stretching, do it. Maybe you don't feel like you have space for it, or maybe you think you should be doing all the other things, all the new things, because you are traveling, you are visiting the country. Why would you do something that you're already doing at home? Just to ground yourself for a moment, because you'll be calmer and you'll have better mindset during your day if anything stressful or unexpected is going to happen. And for me, I didn't want to give up on my running, especially since I'm training for the triathlon. So I woke up early when the city was still asleep, and the streets and all the sidewalks were empty. There was something about having a city to yourself before it wakes up, especially when it's not your city. Chapter 5. Go back and get the presso. Maybe you stepped outside your comfort zone a little or a lot, but you did it. And that's the thing about solo travel. You start trusting yourself more than ever before, because you had no choice. And you know that whatever events are going to happen, you're capable of managing them. So pack your things, say bye to the city, and go back home. So-called the end of the trip. Back to your own bed, to the coffee shops, back to the streets that you know without thinking. It feels good. And then after a day or two, there is something slightly off. Maybe you're already thinking about your next trip, or maybe it's not about the trip at all. Maybe it's just you that changed, and next time you'll be a little afraid. Again. But now you know it's just a part of it.